6 new Texas real estate laws that will impact Austin homeowners in 2026. If you own a home in Texas or you're thinking about moving to Austin, there are 6 brand new Texas real estate laws you absolutely need to know about. And some of these changes could directly impact your property taxes, your ability to buy a home, your insurance, and even your home equity. One of these laws could save homeowners thousands of dollars, and another completely changes how Texas handles squatters. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what these new Texas laws mean, specifically for people moving to and living in the Austin area. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Allison Carter. I'm a realtor here in the Austin area. I help people relocate to Austin every single week. And honestly, a lot of people moving to Texas don't realize how different things work here compared to other states. Taxes are different, property laws are different, even homeowner protections are different. And with these new laws rolling out in 2026, there are some major changes you should understand before buying a home here. So let's jump into it. Law number 1, the Foreign Property Purchase Ban, SB 17. The first major law is Senate Bill 17, and this one has gotten a lot of attention. This law restricts certain individuals and entities tied to countries considered national security threats from purchasing property in Texas. Now, from a real estate perspective, this impacts parts of the buyer pool, especially in large Texas metro areas like Austin, because Austin is a huge tech industry, healthcare industry, and international workforce. How does that impact on Austin buyers? Well, one thing that surprised a lot of people is that H-1B visa holders were not included in some of the exemptions under this law. And why does that matter? Because Austin's tech market relies heavily on international talent. Companies like Tesla, Apple, Samsung, Oracle, and Google all have large employee bases here. So this law could potentially reduce some international buyer demand in certain areas. Now, for local buyers, that may actually create less competition in parts of the market, especially in higher price tech heavy suburbs. Law number 2, Texas bans state capital gains tax, SJR 18. Now, next one is huge for long-term wealth building. Texas already didn't have a state income tax, but now Texas voters approved a constitutional amendment that bans the state from ever creating a capital gains tax. And yes, that includes taxes on realized and unrealized gains. Why does this matter? What this basically does is reinforce Texas as one of the most tax-friendly states for building wealth through real estate. So if you're moving from a state with high taxes, this becomes a major advantage long-term, especially for investors, business owners, and homeowners planning to hold a property long-term. But here's the catch. Now, before everybody gets too excited, there's an important distinction here. This does not eliminate property taxes. And honestly, that's one of the biggest misunderstandings people have when they hear this law. Texas still relies heavily on property taxes to fund schools and local services. So while Texas banned a future state capital gains tax, property taxes are still very much a part of the system. Law number 3. Bigger homestead exemptions. Now let's talk about something homeowners will probably love. Texas increased homestead exemption protections again. And this is a really big deal for homeowners in places like Austin, where property values have climbed dramatically over the last several years. What changed? The school district homestead exemption increased to $140,000. And for seniors, there's additional protection stacking that can be pushed exemptions much higher. Now, in plain English, that helps reduce the taxable value of your home, which means potentially lower property tax bills. And honestly, this matters a lot for long-time Austin homeowners because some people have watched their home values explode, but then struggled with rising tax bills at the same time. So these protections are designed to help homeowners stay in their homes longer. Law number 4, property tax compression. Now, this next one sounds boring, but it actually matters a lot. Texas is continuing property tax compression efforts. And what this means is when property values rise aggressively, like we've seen in the past, school districts are supposed to lower tax rates to offset some of that increase. This is designed to fight what people call taxation by inflation. Because here's what happens in Austin sometimes. Your home value jumps 15%, but your income didn't jump 15%. So without compression, your tax burden can rise really fast. This law attempts to slow that down. Now, in a minute, I'm going to talk about the new Texas law that allows squatters to be removed in as little as 24 hours. And honestly, this is one of the biggest property rights changes Texas has made in years. Law number 5, new insurance protections. Texas also passed new laws aimed at protecting homeowners during insurance disputes, and this is becoming increasingly important, especially with rising insurance costs across Texas. What changed? One major update involves binding appraisal provisions. Basically, if there's a dispute over the value of damages to your home, there's now a more structured process to help resolve those disputes faster. There are also new protections tied to credit score improvements, meaning insurers may now be required to update rates if your credit score improves, instead of continuing to charge older, higher premiums. Law number 6, the 24-hour squatter removal law, SB 1333. Now, this one has gotten a lot of headlines. Texas passed a law making it much easier for homeowners to remove squatters. Previously, removing someone illegally occupying property could take months through the eviction process. Now, under the updated law, certain squatting situations can be treated as criminal trespassing instead, which means law enforcement may be able to remove squatters much faster, sometimes within 24 hours, through a sworn affidavit process. Why does this matter? For property owners, especially investors, second home owners, or vacant property owners, this is a major shift in protection rights. And honestly, Texas is making it very clear that property rights are a major priority. So here's a bonus. HOA transparency changes. One smaller but important change involves HOAs. Texas is increasing transparency requirements for homeowners associations. Some HOAs will now be required to maintain public-facing websites with easier access to records and documents. And there are also new caps on certain resale certificate fees, which helps reduce some closing costs for sellers. So overall, these new Texas laws show where the state is heading. Stronger property owner protections, continued tax reform efforts, and long-term wealth preservation. Now, whether you agree with every law or not, if you're buying property in Austin, you need to understand how these changes could affect you financially, because Texas real estate works differently than a lot of other states. And if you're thinking about moving to Austin, buying a home, or investing here, my team and I help people navigate this market every single week. I help you understand the suburbs, property taxes, new construction, and how these laws could impact your buying decisions. So if you have questions, reach out. My contact info is below. Thanks and have a great day.